actually the question that's asked in the Talmud, Ma Hanukkah, what's this Hanukkah thing? Right? It's something that started a long, long time ago, something that most people don't even know. It wasn't an original holiday. It was actually a delayed festival of Sukkot originally, because the temple was taken over and they celebrated this festival, and there was this lighting of the candles, and it became this big thing because actually the truth is the Christians were doing it. And they were having kids, and the kids wanted to have presents, so we wanted to have presents, we wanted to have lights, so it became this big thing, but in reality, it was something really small, and in fact, it's one of our minor holidays. So let me tell you how it all started. My name's Rabbi Allison Conyer. I'm the rabbi at Eitz Chaim Progressive Synagogue in Bentley. So, long time ago, there was a group of people, the Syrian Greeks, and they came to what was then the land of Judea. And they wanted the Jews to be like everybody else. It's called Hellenization. We call it assimilation. But they wanted the Jews to be just like everybody else. So lots of Jews said, why not? They started to dress like everybody else. They started to go out and party like everybody else. And many of the Jews actually forgot their way of life. They forgot, why is it so special to be Jewish? And they just forgot. And there was another group of Jews that thought, oh, this is really dangerous. If we lose ourselves and become like everybody else, then who are we? What are we? Why are we even here? So these group of Jews got together. There was a leader, and his name was Mattiyahu or Mattathias, and he was really upset. And one day, the Syrian Greeks came in and said, you have to worship this idol. And he's like, well, I'm not going to do that. Well, he knocked over the idol, killed the guy, and ran off into the hills. And a group of followers came with him. He had 5 sons. They grew up and they followed his ways, and they said, you know what? It's really dangerous that not only do the Greeks want to make us like them, but there are other Jews that are trying to lose their identity. This is really bad. We have to fight for what we believe in. So they came, they took over, they went into our most sacred and holy space, the Beit HaMikdash, the temple, and they destroyed it. They knocked everything over, and they made it as a place to worship their gods and do things their way. If that's not an affront to who we are, I don't know what is. So they got really upset, we need to get this back. But they were this tiny little group, and there was a big other group saying, no, you can't do it, you have to do things our way. So this little tiny group called the Hasmoneans, it was a family, and they said, okay, we're gonna fight, and they did. And they used this interesting technique, almost like guerrilla warfare, and they pretended like there were many people. So one night, that went on for a number of years, and one night they went around the temple, and they went around the armies, and they made all these noises, and they ran in like crazy people, and it made it sound like there were more. So eventually the Syrian Greek army left, and the Jews were able to have it back. Now by this time Mattathiyahu had died, and one of his sons named Judah took over. Now Judah was this big buff guy, and he had these big muscles, and they nicknamed him Yehuda Maccabee, Judah the Maccabee, meaning the hammer, because his arm and his muscle was like, as strong as a hammer. So he went in and he took over, and he says, we're not going to let them to tell us what to do. So he went and he took over, and that's the story, and we got the temple back. However, many years later, there's another story that was added. And the other story talks about the miracle of the oil. So the oil, we're told, the oil was used, I don't know if you can see over here, but we had a menorah, a candelabra, that was on either side of the ark in the Beit HaMikdash, in the temple, and you needed oil to light. Well, there wasn't enough oil to light it, and they wanted to dedicate the temple back to God and make it holy and pure, but they didn't have enough oil to light it. So they sent someone to go and get the oil, and they had only enough oil to last for one day, and as the story goes, the oil actually lasted and burned for 8 days. The time it took the messenger to go to the town, get more oil, and come back. 8 days. So as a result, we as Jews celebrate 8 days of Hanukkah, representing the miracle of the oil. So that's what our story is. What do? One of my favorite holidays, because we're literally designed free for all fried food for 8 days. It's fantastic, guilt-free. So we eat fried latkes, which are potato pancakes. We eat sufganiyot, which are donuts. We eat anything fried to remind us of the miracle of the oil. We also use, we light Chanukiah, which looks like this. And it's got 8 candles over here, 8 places to put the candles, and one which is the shamas, the helper candle, and we light them each night of Hanukkah. And we're supposed to put it in our windows or doorposts so everyone can see that it's a miracle. So what's this miracle? The miracle, according to the rabbis later on, is that the small army defeated the large army, right? That God was with us even though we were small. And that's something that we celebrate as a Jewish people. So what does that mean for us today? I don't know about you. As you can hear from my accent, I'm American. I come from California. I was a hippie at heart, and it was all about peace, not war, which is one of the reasons why the whole story isn't put in our sacred canon, in our Bible. But what do we celebrate? What is it about now? To me, the story of Hanukkah is about not assimilating, is about being proud of who you are. You can acculturate, you can adapt to the culture in which you live, but don't lose yourself completely and forget who we are, right? So many people want to make Hanukkah like Christmas. It's not. Don't even try it. Appreciate it for what it is, right? It's a beautiful holiday to celebrate. Actually, just to compare it to Christmas is the exact opposite of the holiday. Not to assimilate. We don't need to be like anybody else. Appreciate Christmas for the Christians, by all means. But appreciate Hanukkah for the Jews. Appreciate who we are. That's what our festival is about. The other message I would say, it's anti-bullying, right? Just because you're bigger doesn't mean you're better, and doesn't mean that you need to assert your rights on other people. So the little guy reminds us that it's important to stand up for who we are and what we are, even if something seems bigger or people seem bigger. Be proud of who you are, stand up for who you are, and that's what it's about. Hanukkah Sameach to all of you.